Hey, Munchkin. Oh, Bluebell.
Hello my darlings and welcome to a new mood reading vlog. This is annoying. I just went to bed with my hair wet and that's what I get for not doing my hair. But we're just going to go with it, okay? I'm not doing my hair. As usual, I'm going to start by getting a tarot card prompt to pick one of my books for this mood reading vlog. So I'm using the Deathly Flowers Tarot. Okay, I got the Five of Cups, and the prompt that I chose for this one is Oracle card. Jesus, your book. I'm going to go and get an Oracle card deck, and we'll see what that gives us. Okay, so the Oracle card deck I'm choosing is a deck I made for myself. This is called the Flower Maiden Oracle. So let's see, I don't even know how this is going to work. I just thought I'd give it a go to see if I could find books based on it. Okay, so the card I pulled is called the Rain Chalice and the keyword is replenish. So we already know that this is from a book called, well, it used to be called Spit or Swallow, now it's Split or Swallow. So I could choose that. I could choose a book with any of these elements on the cover, or the word rain, chalice, or replenish. So I will do some homework and figure out what book suits that prompt. But I already have read a lot of books and Dean have a lot of books. So I'm going to tell you and catch you up on what's been going on. And to do that, I need to put my glasses on so I can read my notes. Okay, so I started Hemlock and Silver by T. Kingfisher. I got 30% of the way through this book, and in this book you have Anya, and Anya is the kind of healer who looks at a glass of poison and thinks, my morning beverage. She's happily minding her own business in her herb garden when one day the king pays her a visit, and just like a pushy Yelp reviewer demands service, he wants her to help his daughter Snow, who is dying, and apparently only the neighborhood poison drinker can help. So armed with a grumpy cat who has main character energy and her obsession with the scientific method, Anya throws every tincture, poultice, and experimental idea at the princess. I think eventually she ends up going through a mirror into some kind of mirror world based on the blurb. I didn't get that far because, oh damnation, the first 30% of this book was boring as hell. The pacing was glacially slow. It felt like I was just getting a history lesson in poisons and mediocre humor. I did relate to Anya in that I too do not look at mirrors at night. Just don't want to see anything in a mirror at night. But I couldn't keep going. To be that dull for the first 30%, it's not going to rate highly for me. I just didn't care to spend any more time on this particular book, which sucks. That's T. Kingfisher, I have more duds than hits, but because I've had 5 stars, Nettle and Bone, I'm forever looking for another Nettle and Bone. I did also like Thorn Hedge. So those two were the only standouts. Everything else has been mid or boring for me. So I DNF'd this one. And then I picked up Audition by Katie Kitamura. This was listed for the Booker Prize. And this is about 2 people who sit down at a brunch in Manhattan. One of them is a successful actress and the other is a young man who could be her son, her lover, her stalker. I don't know. I was getting nothing out of this. I guess all the world's a stage, but I don't care to watch. That's going to be annoying with the glare, isn't it? I'm like right in front of the windows. Is that better? So yeah, I DNF'd that one as well. And then I picked up Venus on the Half Shell by Philip Jose Farmer, who is writing this as Kilgore Trout. And Kilgore Trout was a recurring character in Vonnegut's books. He was kind of a dud sci-fi writer. And Philip uses Kilgore to write a fever dream space opera about life, death, and cat ladies who hand out immortality shots like they're free samples at Costco. The hero of this book is Simon Wagstaff, who survives Earth's biblical level flooding by stumbling into an abandoned spaceship, and from there he bumbles across the universe for thousands of years sipping alien cocktails, philosophizing about the meaning of existence, and occasionally hooking up with beings who probably belong on the cover of a very different kind of paperback. This book is basically a stoned guy cornering you at a party to explain the multiverse with a lot of hand gestures. I guess if you've ever wanted to read about a fool hitchhiking across the galaxy while philosophizing about God, bureaucracy, and the absurdity of cat queens, then this book is for you. If not, you'll know why Vonnegut made trout a running joke rather than a career plan. This was, it was just dumb. I'm sorry. That's how I felt. I felt like it was dumb. So no, I just wasn't into it. What I was into, however, is the cover. This cover is gorgeous, and I would love to have a lot more of these retro covers back in the mix. They're for sci-fi, the pulp covers of the horror, romance, gothic. I like the old school, man. It's cool. So yeah, cover stunning, book, not for me. So that brings us to the books that I'm going to pick up for this vlog. Obviously, I've got to do the Rain Chalice Replenish card. Got to figure out what I can do for that. I was just thinking replenish, rain, water. I'm thinking of the book Sleep by Honor Jones because I recall that had a watery cover and it's got the word sleep, replenish, and that was on my to read for the month. So that might be the book unless there's something else already in my TBR that's more suitable, but I should read that regardless. So that could be the Oracle card pull. I have just gotten approved for an arc on NetGalley, and it's called Welcome to the Deep Estate by Kane. I will tell you what it's about once I've started reading it and I can get a better gist, but it's just got a very wacky blurb and it intrigued me. I also like the cover. I like the cover. Look, a lot of my NetGalley arc submission appeals are based on the covers. I'm like, that looks cool. Let's give it a go. I could also, sorry, that's getting real up close and personal. I could also start The Love in the Big City by Sang-Yong Park, which is translated by Ant and Her for my book club, Grandpa's book club, but I don't know, it's still pretty far out. I might want to read this really close to the book club. So yeah, I think I might save this for the third mood reading vlog, which you're going to get because I've just got so many books that have come in. I've got to pick them up. I've got them sitting in my libbies. So many, and only 3 weeks. 3 weeks to read them. It's just not enough time, especially with a libby because they do return it immediately. Whereas at least with the physical books, if you want to bring it back late, you could. I almost never, ever do that, I will say. I'm very considerate of the people who are waiting for the books. If no one's waiting for the book, you can just re-borrow it, which is easy peasy. But yes, that's everything for now. I'll update you once I have read something. And today I'm taking my daughter to a dentist appointment because it's all the way across town. We do go out a bit. I've got to go food shopping though. I've got no groceries, so I'll do that. And I'll touch base with you guys later.
Hello, darling. Is that your little toy next to you? I see a little toy. I see a little toy.
Good morning, my lovely jubblies. My lovely... I feel like this is an awkward angle. And I just filmed a whole video, Kobo Cole video that way. That's going to be annoying in editing to see that angle. But it's first thing in the morning and I'm not quite awake. And I think that's why I am not making the right decisions. I read a lot of stuff yesterday. I had a life event thing happen to me that was upsetting, and I'm not going to get into it because what I'm doing is I'm putting out to the universe, everything's going to work out in my favor. It's all going to be wonderful and better than I imagined. I'm trying to, positive thought note blue my way through it. So, but to get the energy out, like I did some jumping jacks. I did that little duck shake trick, but I was still in here ruminating on it and I couldn't let it go. So I just read to distract myself, and it worked. I eventually got the emotions out of my body because no one wants to be filled with rage and the feeling of injustice. So I did in. I've got a lot of books. We're going to go through those first. I picked up Automatic Noodle by Annalee Newitz, and the premise of this is we have some robots who reopen a noodle shop in post-war San Francisco, and then they have to fight off 1-star reviews to save their soup. Now, this is supposed to be like a cozy sci-fi, and I can see that the robophobia is meant to represent xenophobia, but it is about like AI robots taking over human jobs in the creative fields. So it's hard to commiserate with them because if it's literally AI taking over human jobs in the creative fields, I'm pro humans being able to be in the creative fields for work and to have those as jobs. And then on top of that, the AI were talking about crypto a lot. Like they were talking about buying ETH, and I'm like, what? No, it wasn't working for me. It wasn't working for me. I'm going to get a clip to tie up my hair because it's annoying me. So yes, I was not in the mood for this one. So I did DNF it. And then I picked up Sleep by Honor Jones. And the book is about Margaret, and Margaret spends her life hiding from her brother under the blackberry bush when she's young, and then hiding under her parents' bed to dodge her divorce and her mother's opinions. It was going okay until I hit the page 50 mark and her brother's essay of hers began while she was a child. And I'm like, oh, it's this kind of book. So this is the dark thing that was happening to her that was alluded to. And I'm like, I'm not in the mood for incest essay. And it was like descriptive what he was doing. And I was just like, no. So nope. Because as I say, man, my mood reading blogs are for me. These are where I read the books that I think I'm really going to like. And all my themed vlogs are when I put my librarian Chanel hat on and I read books way outside my comfort zone or wheelhouse, so I can just talk about a variety. So I can recommend books to all kinds of readers. So yeah, my mood reading vlogs, they're just for me. I'm being selfish. I am only reading books that I'm thinking these are Chanel coded. So then I picked up The Hole by Ha Young Fun. I haven't looked up how to pronounce the name. And in this book you have Ogie, and Ogie thought he was having a bad day when a car accident killed his wife and left him in a coma. But he's now just woken up and he's paralyzed, mute, and stuck living with his grieving mother-in-law who's decided therapy is for the weak. So Ogie is really helpless and he's sort of marinating in regret and morphine. And he sees his mother-in-law outside digging holes in her garden and turning it into a DIY horror project. Each day, she's digging bigger and bigger holes. Is she unearthing her grief? Is she planning Oggie's shallow grave? Has she gone cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? Hard to say when you can't move, can't speak, and your only view is the shovel getting closer. So I read 80 pages of this before DNFing. I read in the synopsis that this has misery parallels, so I'm assuming it's the whole disabled person gets physically abused and tortured by their caregiver. I'm assuming that is the misery parallel. The book was so boring. Nothing happened really in the first 80 pages, nothing. And that's almost halfway through the book because it's only a 200-page book. So once again, I was just like, it's not gripping me. It's not doing anything for me thus far. Do I really end up wanting to read about a dude who's disabled being tortured? Probably not, to be honest. So I did DNF it. And then I picked up A Dance of Lies by Brittany Arena. So it started off with the author's foreword where she was listing all of her chronic illnesses, and turns out we're chronic illness twins. I have a few extra than she does, but it did instantly endear me to her because I was like, okay, she gets me. She knows what I'm going through on a daily basis. So this is about Vasily Morgan, and she goes from being dungeon decor to royal spy. When the king who framed her for murder, hence why she was languishing in the dungeon, decides that she would make a great tool in his belt. So now she has to go to some, ball, royal palace gathering, and supposedly it's full of lies, betrayals, dueling brothers. There are multiple love interests in this, which also isn't something I'm super interested in. So I did pick this up because of the chronic illness rep. Now her chronic illness or disability is that she seems to have had muscle wastage from being in the prison dungeons for 2 years. So she was previously a ballerina, so she was an athlete. And yeah, she's been underfed and under-exercised for 2 years. And so in the beginning when she comes out and he tells her that she has to be a dancer again, she's experiencing a lot of fatigue, a lot of pain and weakness. But then after like a few weeks of training, she's able to dance again and do very physically demanding things if she just pushes through. That's not how it works for me. So it wasn't giving the disability rep or chronic pain rep that I was thinking it was going to give. It felt like it was overcome very easily. And the character spends a lot of time bemoaning the things that had happened to them, which I know, granted, it's unfair. They were chucked into prison for 2 years, and that is awful for a crime they didn't commit. But she was just very misery. And it's just, after a certain point, you're like, okay, I don't want to be in the head of someone who's like, poor me, this is unfair, everything's awful, yada yada yada. So I just didn't get into it. Like I said, the way that she was able to overcome her disability very quickly just by, you know, persevering wasn't my cup of tea. So I did DNF it. But then I picked up Death and the Gardener by Georgi Gospodinov. My father was a gardener, now he is a garden. In this book, the narrator's father is a gardener, and he toils in his mini garden of Eden / future graveyard till the very end. And the son sits by his deathbed and realizes that when fathers go, they don't just die, they take a whole era with them. Do we still exist if the last person who remembers us as children has passed away? And suddenly every childhood afternoon is cracked like a broken flower pot. Gospodinov spends the book juggling grief, mythology, botany, and Bulgarian chain-smoking daddies, proving that dads are basically tragic demigods of failure that leave us with 2 things: stories and chores. I thought this was a beautiful, tender account of a father and son who ends up being the inheritor of both the garden and the inevitable decline of the man who built it. When his dad dies, the garden becomes both a sanctuary and a wound. Lush, alive, but orphaned. There is a gentle balance of humor and sorrow in this. At any moment, I was either smiling, laughing, or crying. When he said that he hadn't erased his father's number from his phone, it broke me, because I didn't even think about that. Like, how can you delete their number from your phone? Like, you're never going to get a call from them again, but I don't think I would ever delete the number of someone I really, really loved, because it would feel like erasure. And I can't even, I'm just going to start crying again. This is the kind of book that you would plant in your memory and water with rereadings. It was just so well done. This was a 5-star read for me. It was, like I said, it's a hard read, but grief is one of those subjects that I do like reading about, because it's one of those emotions that I've unfortunately and fortunately had a lot of experience with. And I say fortunately because to grieve means you have once loved. You only grieve that which you have loved, and we're fortunate enough to lose. But the writing in this, there was so many. This is a library book, so I cannot, tab it. But there was just so much beautiful writing, and let me just find some examples. For instance, there was following the diagnosis of his father's type of cancer. The author said, "Until now, I had known that Latin was a dead language. Now I know that it is the language of death. Death speaks Latin." And then let's just grab another one. "I don't recall exactly what we talked about, but it was one of those conversations you never have under any other circumstances. The disease forces out unheld conversations and delayed intimacy. Suddenly, the person next to you, whom you consider invariably present, starts gleaming in his mortality, becomes translucent and fragile. The thread of his life brightens like cobwebs, which suddenly become visible in the autumn sun." There was just, like I said, this was beautifully written, absolutely beautifully written, and it encapsulates everything that you go through, not only with grief, but with losing a parent, and how that affects you as a human being, how that changes your days. from that point forward and recolors your past and your childhood. It was just, and obviously the garden is in there as well, but 5-star book for me. I'm going to see if there's anything else. Georgi, Gospodinov writes, because the writing in this was absolutely stellar. Oh, it's the winner of the International Booker Prize 2023. Well, they got that right. They got that right then. That was amazing. That was amazing. Oh, it was, like I said, it was hard. It was hard to read, but beautiful. It's a beautiful sorrow. What am I going on to next? So I'm going to read Welcome to the Deep Estate by Kane. And that's on ebook. Physical book, I might just read Love in the Big City and just get it done. And I can just refresh my thoughts on it by watching my reviews on here, which is like a lovely bonus of having these. I can be like, oh, how did I feel about it? I'll just watch my little review, watch myself talk about it. So I think those are the 2 books that I will go on to next. But yeah, it was lovely to finally find a book I liked and then have it be a 5-star book. So I am mostly staying home today. I think I might go out later to the grocery store, get some fresh fruit. But besides that, it's going to be chill. I'm exhausted. I got 2 sick kids at home. So I'm looking forward to winter ending so we can get that energy and vitality and that viv and vim back. Viv and vim? Vigor and vim. Vigor. I'm tired. I'm so tired. I've been sleeping a lot more than usual, which is great for me as a normally chronic insomniac, but it's making me even more tired. Weirdly so. It's like, oh, you got 8 hours of sleep. And yet I feel worse than when I normally get my 5 hours of broken sleep. Make it make sense. I don't know, guys. See you later, alligators.
All the kitties are napping close by. Got Blue and Nova. Normally they're solo nappers. And then over there's little Sylvie. So cute.
Hello, my darlings. I have an update for you. So last night I did start reading Welcome to the Deep Estate by Kane, which is my arc from NetGalley. So I have read 100 pages. I've had a rollicking good time. It's been a romp. I'm going to tell you what it's about. So in this book you have John Doe. Yes, that is his name. And John Doe thought his dad was just another tin foil hat wearing weirdo yelling about lizard people, until one day a newspaper from another dimension shows up on his porch and suddenly he's on the world's weirdest elevator ride. Look out, Willy Wonka. You've got some competition. This elevator goes all the way down. And what's at the bottom? Well, welcome to the Bureau of the Bizarre. Think DMV meets Men in Black, but with never-ending paperwork and more weird shit. What is their mission? The mission is to keep reality from completely collapsing under the weight of cursed dolls, Schrodinger's cats multiplying like bunnies, double secret lizard people, and that one author who's just a little too enthusiastic about his powdered inspiration. Now, John's the newest recruit in the bureaucratic Hunger Games of cosmic nonsense. Reality is cracked, the filing system is fucked, and the murder clowns are unionizing. Welcome to the Deep Estate. Please take a number. This is so fucking fun, guys. This is so fun. It really is like Men in Black crossed with The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy on a fuck ton of acid while they're in the middle of a K-hole. It is just bonkers and in the best way. I love all the pop culture references. I find the humor quite hilarious, and I don't even mind that this book has its own vernacular. For instance, there's Kafka forms, K forms, Chekhov guns, lie detecting crickets, just so much fun stuff. It also has illustrations before every chapter, which is a fun touch. And John Doe's partner in crime is Evie, who's a metaphysical idea of a vampire. There is just so much stuff going on in this. Every conspiracy theory that you can think of is proven true. It is just such a blast. And it's got, like I said, such a tongue-in-cheek, pun-filled brevity to it. John Doe is just like, there's this one point where they give him, you know, the little magic, the Disney things, you used to click them and it showed you another image. And they tell him that most people who look at these images go insane. Like they literally kill themselves the second that they stop looking at them, and they've never gotten past slide 10. In the beginning, it's showing Winnie the Pooh doing snuff films. And John's like, you guys have clearly never been on Reddit. this is tame. And then it does go to up shit, but he's just like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Oh, that's a lot of buttholes with teeth, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, how are you watching this and not going insane? And he's like, my dudes, when I was 10, I took brown acid in an abandoned nut house. And then I do it every year with my friend. We go to more effed up places and drop brown acid. This is nothing compared to that. So I'm like, I love John. I really do. So this is just so fun. I can't stress how much of a great time I'm having. It's a blast. I have no idea where it's going to go, what it's going to do. It's one of those wacky books that you cannot predict. But I'm just delighted with every new thing I learn and every new place, and fun. So yeah, I'm 100 pages into that. I probably would have, if I didn't have to get up early today, would have absolutely read it all in one go. But I'm got a Zoom meeting with my tarot tube bestie Rochelle, so I've got to be there with bells on. But I'm looking forward to finishing that. This is definitely an author that I will read more from. Like, it doesn't even matter if the rest of the book is trash. These 100 pages just have been such a delight and so entertaining that I could forgive the rest of it being a turd burger, which I highly doubt, but we'll see where it goes. That being said, maybe some people might find it offensive. For instance, the main character refers to the taste of blood as a penny's jizz. So it's not like tame humor, so to speak. Sometimes it's a bit dude bro-y, but I don't mind it. So that's my only update for today. My kids are both sick. Yay. So I'm just going to be staying home. I might pop out quickly just to get us some fresh fruit because we are out and always find fruit's good for when you're sick. But that's everything, and I will update you guys once I have read some more. Can you hear that? Yeah, can you hear it, darling? It is pouring outside. Storm City. I just got off Zoom chat with Rochelle. Ended up chatting for like 2.5 hours. I was like, oh, I have to go because I have to make my kids lunch, but could have chatted to her all day, all night. How amazing is that? This is honestly, so we have never met in person. We became friends when I first started my tarot tube channel. She's a legend on tarot tube, and we just vibed. Okay, you can always, I think, spot a kindred spirit sometimes, even over the digital space. But I think that is one of the most wonderful things about YouTube, is that you can find an online community, you can find online friends, and I feel like those connections are just as real as ones in your real life. Sometimes even they can be even deeper than ones in your real life. So someone who doesn't really make friends very easily, and I don't really have a lot of real life friends, as you know. I just have my 2 best friends since childhood, and that's it. So my circle is small. It was really lovely to chat to someone that I've never met, but I feel like I've known for a very, very long time. So thank you, Rochelle, for the beautiful conversation. I did end up going to the library, so I'm going to show you what I hauled. So I haven't read anything else. I'm not really in the reading mood at the moment. I just want to sort of binge booktube and catch up, because yeah, it does. I follow a lot of people on tarot and booktube, and so it takes me forever to look at videos sometimes. As I was saying, we've got some books. So this is Mr. Distinctive, and this is by Olga Tokarczuk, illustrated by Joanna Consejo, translated by Antonia Lloyd-Jones. I have no idea what this was about. This just looked really weird, and like I do like Olga Tokarczuk's books, so I thought I'd give this a go. It doesn't look to have any words, just pictures, but I will flip through it and give you a review probably either today or tomorrow, because I don't think it'll take me that long. I don't think I DNF it. It's just pictures. So it'll be on this vlog. I've got Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson. So I have seen this so many times on booktube. The cover is obviously iconic, but everyone keeps saying it's good. So this is not something I would normally pick up. It's about friends, but I'm willing to give it a go, so I thought I'd give it a go. We've got By Force Alone by Lavi Tida, and the Romans have gone with their libraries, roads, and slaughtering. No idea what this is about, guys. I just saw it, knew there, and decided to give it a go. So this one's a big boy. Yes, 500 pages. But yeah, That's what I like to do. I like to try everything. And we've got Lesson in Thorns by Sierra Simone. So I am aware of Sierra Simone thanks to Olivia from Olivia's Catastrophe, because she is the biggest Sierra Simone stan I have ever come across. So I thought I would give one of her books a go, and this one seemed to be the most interesting to me, Thorn Chapel. So we'll see how we go. This is, I'm expecting a lot of smut. And a sneak peek for an upcoming Halloween vlog. So we've got Uzumaki by Junji Ito, and this is a graphic novel. I'm going to assume it's quite full on. But once again, this is sort of a YouTube darling. I've seen so many people talking about this. So I'm putting it in a Halloween themed vlog. All of my themed vlogs in October will be Halloween themed. So they will all be horror filled. And therefore all of my mood reading vlogs will probably contain zero horror. So I'll be reading so much horror in all the other ones. But yeah, they've all got their own sort of mini horror theme. And this will be in one of them. What kind of video will this be in? You will have to wait and see. But yeah, I will read this and come back to you with my opinions of it. Look, the illustration style is very cool. I don't know what sort of thing it's going to say, but we'll see what it says. Okay. This was interesting, I guess. I would say it's interesting. So this did have words in the end. They've got these pages that fold out. So, for instance, they fold out. Sometimes they fold out into a larger image. Sometimes they fold out into text. And I'll show you some more of the writing style. I mean, of the illustration style. So this is sort of a social critique of obsession and narcissism. In this book, you have a man, and he is Mr. Distinctive. He has a distinctive face. He's sort of obsessed with taking photos of himself, but it seems that the more you photograph your face, it sort of shaves your humanness away to the point where you no longer have a face. You become faceless and definitely not distinctive. And then so he heads to the black market, where he gives his entire life savings to procure a distinctive face. Unfortunately for him, that face turns out to be the same face everybody else has. So I'm not sure if they're trying to say too that by posting yourself online, by taking photos of yourself, by indulging in the narcissism and the vanity, you look like everyone else. You're no longer distinguishable from the faceless masses, I guess. Everyone on social media has the same face. Maybe. There's not a lot of text here to go off, but that's the kind of vibe that I got from it. The illustration style was beautiful. It was very interesting, but story-wise, it was lacking a little bit. Like I said, it was just a morsel of text and stories. You know, maybe it's about saving face as well. Not entirely quite sure, but it was interesting. So I would say it's an okay read. Good morning, guys. So last night I did finish reading The Deep Estate by Kane. This is like pureeing The X-Files with Hellboy, spiked with The Hike, and sprinkled with dehydrated dungeon crawler Carl. And afterwards, you pour it all out onto a stack of government forms. There's cosmic horror, detective whodunits, and office comedy. And if you thought Clippy was a cool guy, wait till you meet Carrie. This book is basically Viagra for conspiracy theorists. The humor in it hits that sweet spot between witty and ridiculous, and the sheer inventiveness of the weirdness keeps the pages turning. This was a 5-star read for me. I believe it's by the time this vlog airs, it actually will be released, and I will be buying myself a copy because I had the best time reading it. I do think it could have been cut down a little. There are some scenes that I felt didn't need to be as long, or time spent in certain places that could have been shortened for the benefit of the pacing and the flow. What's up, babe?
I was gonna ask a question.
Yeah, I forgot what I was saying, but yeah. I absolutely love this book. It is a series. So, oh, I was hoping it wasn't going to be, and I thought, oh my God, you know, we're going to get a contained story. It's all going to wrap up. How's he going to do it in the last 50 pages? No, he couldn't do it in the last 50 pages because it's a sequel. There is sex in this book, but it's off page. There's like, the main character does break the fourth wall a little bit, and he'll just say to you, like, I could tell you about how I flipped her over and whatever, you know, like I'm going to rate it PG though. It's pretty tame, but I like the romance. I like the characters. I like how trippy the book is and how it weaves all the conspiracy theories in. And hey man, what if this is actually all real, guys? What if this is actually happening right now? We just don't know. But whatever this author's on, it's the good stuff. So that was a really wonderful, pleasant surprise. It's the best feeling when you discover someone on NetGully that speaks your language. So loved that book. What am I going to pick up next? I do think I need to read Love in the Big City by Sang-Yong Park because it is due back in a week or two. And like I said, I like to get my books back early so the next person can get them. So I'm probably going to be putting that in this reading vlog. I'm not including the little picture book as one of my 5 books because that was so small, itty bitty. So what I think I'm going to do, I would love to read Tantrum so that I can complete my entire TBR for the month of September. It would give me immense satisfaction, but has it come in? No idea when it's going to come in. It's still processing. So won't hold my breath for that, but if that does come in, definitely on the docket. But I'm going to be going to the shopping mall today because V needs to buy like birthday presents for 3 different parties. Oh my God, no one tells you how much it costs you if your child has a lot of friends. And she got a lot of friends. So I'm like, oh, I've got to remember to put that in the budget going forward because yeah, at $50, $60 a birthday, it racks up. So, and she also needs to get a outfit for her birthday because she's about to turn 14. So we've got that, and I'm going to try a matcha while I'm there. And no doubt Indy will want a blind box toy, so we'll do that. And then I'll go to the library that's around the corner from the shopping mall and see what's come in, if anything's come in. I might also go to my local library because I saw, even though I went yesterday, as you saw by the book haul, 4 more books have arrived. So sometimes it's like that. You'll have 1 book come in a week and then all of a sudden 1 week you'll have 12. So it's, yeah, it can, when you read from libraries, it can be very hard to schedule anything or to pace yourself because you just have to roll with the flow. And especially if they're new releases, you know that if you don't read it within the 3 weeks, babes, you ain't going to see that book for another 2 years. Hoping to squeeze in a little bit of a workout as well. I think I'm starting to like see some muscle return. I'm starting to get my strength back, so yay. And that's it. Library haul, oracle deck making, the typical things I do on a Saturday. But I will see you again with the new books.
Finally have it.
I know.
I'm scared. I don't think I'm going to do it.
Well, you got to pick which one you think.
This is my middle one, sadly. This is this one. This one.
Is that the one?
Actually, no, I don't know. They're also huge. Like, look, see this one? It's easy because
I know, as soon as you said her name, I thought, yeah, you're going to get her. Let's have a look.
oh my god, this is why it's hard for this set. It has this set. This is so pretty, mommy. This looks really cute.
You always get new ones. Oh, this is kind of cute.
Whatever you want to see.
Okay, so I'm back. I decided not to go to the libraries today. They say spring rain brings the spring flowers, but spring rain be bringing torrential downpours at the moment. And I was like, nope, can't go. But I did buy something. So I bought this little strawberry flower crochet basket to put on my bookshelf. I thought it was really super cute and it was only like $17. So I thought, okay, I think it'll look really nice on my bookshelf. I've also decided that I'm going to do a try chapter of these books to decide which one I'm going to be doing next. So yeah, I'll do a chapter and then report back. I read the first chapter. I should have read the blurb. I should have read the blurb. So in this book, you have 6 kids and they're mucking around on Auden's family's estate, and they stumble upon Thorn Chapel, which is literally a chapel covered in thorns. And the kids decide, well, we should play Let's Get Married. And Auden and a girl named Proserpina go to get married. But during the ceremony, Auden kisses both Proserpina and his guy friend, Saint Sebastian. And ever since then, he's dreamt of them both. This is 3 people, I'm pretty sure, because it says 12 years ago she left Thorn Chapel and the 2 boys she gave her heart to behind. So this one's not for me. This one's out. Okay, book number 2, Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson. So in this chapter, we are introduced to Lillian. Lillian was poor. She pulled herself up by her bootstraps and got herself a scholarship at a fancy, expensive school. And she made friends with a rich girl named Madison. But one day Madison did some coke, had a falling out with her friends ratted her out, but her rich daddy came in and waved his money at Lillian's mother and got Lillian to take the fall. So she got expelled, went back to her shitty school and back to her shitty life where her mother spent all the money the rich daddy had given her. Fast forward to the future and she gets a call from Madison. Madison's in a bit of a pickle. She's married to a politician dude who had many affairs, one of which ended up with 2 twin children. And it turns out that the twins' mummy, the weird woman, is dead. And the twins will be coming to live with Madison and their father, Jasper. But here's the catch. These kids burst into flames, they overheat, they catch on fire, and Madison wants to keep it all hush-hush, so she wants to hire Lillian, who she knows can be discreet since she kept the coke secret all these years, to be their 24-hour governess for the summer until Jasper can get elected. So that's where we're at. This is okay. I didn't love it. I'm interested enough to give it 50 pages. So the first chapter was 34 pages, which that's a long chapter, my dudes. But possibly. Yes, outfit change. Got too cold. So I read By Force Alone by Lavi Tidhar. This is King Arthur retelling, I guess, because it starts off with Uther taking the throne and discovering Merlin chained in the basement. The chapters were really short, like some were only 2 pages. So I read 35 pages. It's okay. It's not really gripping me. And normally I would give fantasy 100 pages, but I can already tell like the writing style and the story is not for me. I'm not really a big fan of Camelot stuff, to be honest. So I'm not going to read this one, which means out of all the tried chapters, this one was the best. This is also feeling okay to me, like a 3.25. I will give it until page 50 to determine whether or not I will continue on with it. But I don't know about this one. Like, it's got to do a lot in the next 20 pages for me to consider it. Because, yeah, I'm looking for the 4-star feels, babes. Okay, another 30-page chapter. So she's just got introduced to the husband and the children. It all seems fine. Like, I don't know how I feel about it. Is something cool going to happen, or is it just like a nice, sweet book? I'll give it one more chapter and then I'll decide, because I'm just very on the fence. At the moment, it does feel very mediocre, but I don't know, like, I'm being swayed by other people's opinions because other people I know have rated it 4 stars or up. So I'm like, there must be something in here that's worthy of that rating. So I'll do one more chapter, take me to page probably almost 100, and we'll see. Okay, so I've read half the book. Look, it just seems like it's a very nice, sweet story about a woman getting to know some kids, and they've all got the sort of misfits in their own way, and they've all got their issues, and they're all trying to just figure it out. It seems like a very sweet book. It seems like a 3 to 3.5 star book, so I'm not going to continue on.
How close do you want to get, Nova? I can actually feel you breathing into my ear.
Good morning, guys. I didn't get as much reading as I would have hoped yesterday because I had some unexpected guests. My ex-husband and his girlfriend rocked up because they wanted me to do their makeup for a party. So I did do my best. It is a lot harder to do makeup on other people, especially winged eyeliner. I did struggle a little bit, but they seemed happy with my job, so it's all I could ask for. And then I've just gone and dropped off my daughter and her nana to the train station because they're going to the city to do some shopping. I'll have to pick them up later on, but I did read some things. So I did pick up Knives Out. Look, I knew that this would probably be something that I was not into. However, so many people on booktube liked it, including the non-erotica girlies. So I thought, yeah, it's not going to cost me anything to try it from the library. In this book, you have an ER nurse whose kink is masked men, and she follows this guy on IG, and I'm going to be honest with you, the comments she leaves, sexual harassment. Like, yeah, they're funny, but if that was a dude leaving those comments on a woman's profile, it wouldn't be cool. So for me, like, I also think it's not cool. I'm like, it's a bit sexually molesty. To like dial your thirst down a little bit, honey. Like, don't be talking about swallowing his cum and shit. But yeah, she's obsessed with this one guy. It turns out that guy is actually the roommate of a dude she used to bang, you know, a friends with benefit situation. And so he knows who she is, and he's clearly got some issues. So he decides, wouldn't it be romantic if I broke into her house and filmed myself jerking off in her bedroom? Turns out she's into it. So I gave it a go, but I really am someone who needs 100% consent. So if someone breaks into your house and puts a hidden camera in there, and they're watching you undress, and they're watching you slide a dildo up into your vajohnson, and then at that point they're like, oh, I should stop watching, I'll click it off now. That's not okay to me. That's not okay to me. You cannot put surveillance equipment in my house without my permission and watch me diddle myself. So I wasn't into it. So I'm sorry, I wasn't into it. It was just too much stuff. And it's like, look, yeah, she's into it, but she didn't give prior consent. It's just afterwards she begrudgingly was like, yeah, okay, it's kind of hot, but no. So it's not hot for me. So I did DNF that, and it wasn't anything fantastic. It's just you know, it's an erotica with a bit of kink play, I guess. At one point he gets her to sit on the handle of a knife.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
Now that's a knife. Now, I decided to then just start Loving the Big City by Sang Young Park. So this centers on Young, and Young is a whirlwind of contradictions. They're cynical but hopeless, reckless yet loyal, hilarious while quietly depressed. Their best friend is Jae-hee. I'm going to have to Google that later to figure out if that's how it's pronounced. And she is his partner in chaos. They are two peas in a pod. She is the Thelma to his very messy Louise. And everything is wonderful until she suddenly becomes responsible and gets engaged and essentially moves on with her life. And then a lot of awful things happen to Young. So his mother's health starts failing, and he just goes from boyfriend to boyfriend and just keeps making one bad decision after another. It's definitely giving Sex and the City vibes. If you swapped Bradshaw's Manolos for Marlboroughs, and Mr. Big was an emotionally unavailable Korean doctor, and half the brunch scenes ended in karaoke rooms. So at the moment it is fine. It's probably not the kind of story I normally read. Like, for instance, with litfics, I do normally read weird litfics. Like weird messed up stuff. This one just feels like, you know, someone, you know, in their 20s just trying to figure out life and getting drowned and then surfacing and then drowning and then surfacing, that sort of thing. Obviously with a big focus on queerness, because the main character is queer, kind of out of the closet, kind of not, because there is acceptance with some people, like his best friend Jae-hee, and then not with other people. So yeah, it's fine so far. Obviously I'll be reading it in full because it is for Grandpa's book club, So it's very easy to read. It's translated by Anton Her. So yeah, I will continue on with that one. I thrifted this recently. What do you guys think? It's cashmere. It's so nice. It's so nice. And hopefully I don't ruin it, because sometimes your girl forgets that she's put cashmere in the cold wash and then chucks it in the dryer. So it goes from being like baggy to just covers my titties, like a jumper for a 2-year-old. I've done that so many times, too many times. But right now it's still fine. But yeah, I think I like hot pink. I think that I'll need to get like a hot pink lip gloss to go with it. What besides that, I don't really have anything physical left. No, I don't. So I might go to the library. I could go today, but I don't really wanna. I might, but I might not. Like I said, it depends on what time my girly pops get back from the city. If it's the library's still open, I'll pop in. If not, speaking of pop in, hello. Hello. What was I going to say? Yeah, I'll see what's coming into the library and read something from there, because I don't really got anything else at the moment. I could go ebook, but I'm reading Love in the Big City as an ebook because I had to return the physical book. But guess what? The ebook was free. It was available. So I quickly just switched formats. Hello, Munchkin. So I will update you once I've read something or I've done a library haul. Could be today, could be tomorrow. It's not aesthetic, but this Cypriot salad, excuse you, not for you, it's for me. Too many greens for you, Sophie. She's going to go sit on my lap. She's going to come back for another. No, you done? Are you going to sit, Sylph? Because I'm trying to eat my food here. Nope, just a drive-by.
That's really fun. Oh, that's what you're doing. I was going to say, what is she doing?
No butts, no cat butts, Blue. Good morning, guys. So I have continued on with Love in the Big City. I'm halfway through. There's a lot of big dicks in here, and I will save my thoughts for the end, but it is split into parts, and I will say thus far, part 1 with Jehi is my favorite, with his bestie. And then part 2 was sort of with taking care of his evangelical Christian mother, who at one point, when she saw her son kissing a boy, sent him to a psych ward. Lovely lady, lovely lady. And I'm guessing part 3 is to do with one of the biggest loves in his life. So I will continue on with that. I'm headed into the city today. Oh, not on my fishnets. And you'll see that in my Get Real Weird With It vlog. But I've also got to head to the library to do a book haul, because I'd like to get some, oh, okay, you can sit on me. Just don't rip me up. To, yeah, get some new books in. But I will see you guys when I return with a book haul. Okay, I'm back. Oh my God, it was so cold. As soon as I got to the city, I wanted to come home. Sometimes that does happen. I think I'm fine, and then I go out and I'm like, no, I'm not fine. So all of my previously laid plans down the toilet, I was like, we're gonna have to make this short and sweet. I'm gonna have to get in and out. So I did go to Dimmicks, and my God, there was so many books. There's so many books I've never heard of. And it was overwhelming, and there's so many sprayed edged editions of books once again that I've never heard of before. And I was like, it's so tempting. It's so tempting, but I've been tracking my spending on books. And even though I use the library for the majority, I have spent much more than I would like to on books, especially on books that I've never read. I would rather spend all my money on 5-star books, books I've read, books I love, I want to put in my bookshelf, I want to support the authors. That's where I prefer my money go, not just randoms, because then it's disappointing when you don't like it. But I had 2 matchas. That first matcha, it sounded cool, you know, jasmine tea, coconut water, thyme-infused syrup, but it just tasted like bubblegum, and I hate bubblegum. So I didn't like it. And then the second one, the strawberry matcha, that tasted a lot like Nesquik strawberry milk. I don't know if you have that in America, but that's what it tasted like with a bit of matcha. It was nice, but yeah, it was probably not, it wasn't, you know, it's definitely not beating out the matcha miso, which is still holding strong at 9.5. I had a POTS episode, so my ears are blocked. I'll be okay in a little while, but I did force myself to go to the library afterwards to pick up some books. I was meant to go food shopping today too, can't do it. Girls don't fight. Can't do it. So I'll show you what I picked up. I've got I Might Be in Trouble by Daniel. I think this is like a murder mystery one. Not sure. I think this has got a pink cover. And look, I saw it in the bookstore, but I had already asked my library to purchase this one. I was aware of it beforehand. I was like, buy it for me, please. And they did. It's so funny. Like this, I literally asked them to buy it for me a few weeks ago and it's already in. And there's other books that I asked them to buy for me 6 months ago and they approved the request and it shows that it's processing. Still hasn't come in. So I don't understand how it works. Like I said, I wasn't in acquisitions in the library, so I don't know how they work. Arborescence by Rhett Davis. We'll see if I like it. Not sure. I don't like this cover. I think there's an alternative cover that I prefer. But that's that one. Here we've got, look, sprayed edge edition, very cool. A Fellowship of Bakers and Magic by Jay Penner. I probably will not like this one, but I saw it at the library. It's sprayed edge, and I thought, oh, I must have it. Finally, The Hounding by Zenobi Purvis. Hate this cover, love the alternative cover. So if I love this, I'll definitely buy it. This was one of the ones I got my library to purchase. So that's also how I support authors, okay? I get my library to buy copies, and when you make a request at the library for a book, they don't just buy one, they buy at the minimum 2. Sometimes if they think, oh, Chanel's requested something that could be popular, they'll buy like 5. So really, I'm contributing to multiple purchases of books by getting my library to buy things for their catalogue. But yes, I am going to be reading this in this vlog. This one has been hotly anticipated and it's finally arrived in my little hands. So I will be reading this. I'll be starting with this one. I believe this is about a group of sisters who the village people think are dogs, something along that vein. Witches probably. They'll be accused of things, no doubt. Then I've got, I don't think I can actually show you the other two because this is a folio for sure. Is this folio? Yep. Folio in the library means heavy and oversized. So these are ones that will really your wrists up. If you have to shelve folio trolleys, it's going to hurt. There's a maximum 45 minutes of shelving if you're doing folio max, and I don't think you could last 45 minutes. Like this is really a 2-hand book. But yes, I've got these two for an upcoming Reddit vlog. I don't know how it's going to go. It's a bit conceptual. But they came in, so wunderbar. And yeah, plans for the rest of the day. This is my one day off. Sans children, so all the laundry's done, all the house has been cleaned. I'm probably going to start reading The Hounding. First I'm going to wash this off. As soon as I get home, my makeup comes off unless I'm planning on filming or something. If no one else is going to see me, straight off. Putting on my tracky ducks. Oh, I'm not keeping this dress. So I just thrifted this. Am I looking tanned? I feel like I'm looking tanned right now, which it's dead of winter. I shouldn't be tanned, even though I am naturally olive. This is a newly thrifted bluebell dress. And it's one of those dresses, unfortunately, that bunches up. You know, when you're walking, it just starts lifting higher and higher and higher. And I cannot stand having to pull down my skirt constantly. I don't want to have to fiddle and adjust my clothing. And obviously if I'm walking and every 10 steps I have to no. So I'm going to resell this and put whatever it sells for back in my little thrifting piggy bank, which is a bummer because it's a dress I can wear without a bra. Is that my nipple or is that the seam? Oh, it's both. It's both. It's both. I was gonna say you can wear it without a bra, but then I think it is quite Jennifer Aniston-y in the front, which I don't really care that much about, but it is spring, but it's cold and raining. And I forgot that spring in the beginning, so much rain. It's still cold from winter and there's rain. So my actual least favorite time of the year is the end of winter, start of spring. That time sucks. So yeah, even though this is the warmest coat, it's still, I suffer with when the cold air hits my ears. I should get it's not mittens. What are they called when they go on your head? It's on the tip of my tongue. Mittens? Why do I think it sounds like muffins? Oh, that's gonna kill me. When that comes to me later, I'll be like, God damn it, Chanel. Ear muffs. Hey. It's kind of like muffins. Ear muffs. I should get ear muffs because I get horrible earaches when the cold wind blows through my ear holes. I'm done. Peace out, guys. I'll see you once. Oh, wait, no, not peace out, guys. I did finish reading Love in the Big City by Sang-Young Park. Let me go get my notes because I did write notes on my phone. Okay, so let me sum this up. There was actually 4 parts, my bad, 4 parts. So this novel is wrapped in cigarette smoke, neon lights, and the buzz of too many Tinder matches set to the soundtrack of Kylie Minogue. It is an exploration of loneliness, family duty, and the fragile ways we piece love together in a world that often feels hostile to it. The relationships in this are chaotic, tender, toxic, hilarious, and transformative, sometimes all at once. The main themes in this book were queer love and friendship as family. I really did prefer the first part with the friendship, not so much the other bits. The mother one was hard to stomach because of their unhealthy relationship, and obviously it was heavy with the cancer stuff. And then all of their relationships, none of them were good. And it ended up also going into the main character dealing with something medical. And I don't want to give it away because that could be considered a spoiler. I thought this was, one second, Sylvie, fetch. I thought this was okay. The writing, and it's hard to say because this is translated, but the writing felt, oh, you brought it back already. That was quick. Ready? Go. Felt clumpy and clunky. And I know that, yeah, I am not a queer 20-something Korean man, but I should have been able to connect to the character in some way. I should have been able to feel what they're feeling. And I felt nada. There was no feeling, there was no depth in this, despite the fact that a lot of heavy topics were brought up. So do check the trigger warnings because I think some people might not appreciate how it looks at certain things. But yeah, this just felt very, I don't know, it just felt like I was watching from afar through a dirty window. You know, I could kind of see what was going on, but I wasn't invested. I didn't feel the stakes. I didn't feel. Like I said, I don't know if it's the writing or if it's the translation or both. You know, I can't tell, but kind of just didn't, I don't know, it just didn't do anything for me. I wasn't rooting for anyone and no one felt real. And it was kind of depressing, to be honest. Yeah, the book was kind of depressing. And everyone's real messy and there aren't happily ever afters, really. Look, I know I said this feels like a Sex and the City, and Sex and the City was mentioned. So it's kind of like that. It's messy, it's toxic, kind of problematic, no real happily ever afters, so to speak. Ow, Sylvie, did you make me bleed? You have to wait until I've got it before you grab it. So yeah, it's kind of like every joke hides a bruise and every cigarette is lit with longing, you know, that kind of book. So it's not my kind of book in general, but yeah, this one I just had a hard time actually feeling the emotional resonance, but I did finish it. So that was finished. I'll be reading this. So I've got 2 more slots left for this reading vlog. We'll see if I end up reading this in full or not. Good morning, guys. I'm coming in quick and fast because my daddy, oh, there's my mouth tape. Let's just move this over here. My dad is coming to see me. He's been overseas in Greece for like a month and a half, so I gotta make this quick. I read half of The Hounding, which is about a little town in which the Mansfield sisters arrive, and people there think that they turn into dogs, that they are witches or witch wolves or something of the like. It was so slow. Okay, so I read half the book. I gave it a solid try. Nothing had happened. It was so dull and slow. There was just some misogynistic townfolk who, you know, didn't like that the sisters were cold and ignored them and didn't give them the proper respect they were due. And yeah, look, I don't know. Are they dogs? Possibly. Possibly they are. Wouldn't know. Didn't finish the book. So yeah, I DNF'd that one. It was just doing nothing for me. I am now listening to Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which is about bitches in space. No, I'm joking. It's about women in space, astronauts. We'll see how we go. I'm not really a fan of astronaut books unless it's like a horror book, you know, or really comical. This is not going to be either of those things. It's Taylor Jenkins Reid. It'll be a drama of some kind. So we'll see how I go. I'll give it longer because it's an audiobook. At the moment, like, it's fine, but I just don't know if it'll be for me or not. We'll see. And I'm going to start Arborescence, and I believe that's about people turning into trees. So those are the next two books on the lineup.
You're holding onto Mummy's foot. I tried to get off the couch, and she grabbed it. Hey. Blue. You wanna unhook your claw because this one's hooked in. Yeah, that one's hooked in. Yeah. Do you wanna? Oh, yep. You're just gonna have a bite. Can I take it? Can. Oh. Mummy, oh, thank you. Oh, what, the other claw? There we go. Gifts from my daddy and his trip to Greece. He knows that I am a cat lady. French onion lentil shepherd's pie. That's a cauliflower potato.
Good morning, my darlings. I have a lot to catch you up on. So I was reading Arborescence by Rhett Davis. So in this book, what if your partner joined a cult that just stood there, basically? There's no chanting, no sacrificing goats, no selling of essential oils. They just literally stand still and touch grass until they turn into trees. And in this book, this couple needs to decide, do they keep hustling in this late capitalist collapse, or do they just embrace the inner oak and just vibe as vegetation? I read a decent amount. I wasn't really a fan of the writing style, and by that I mean the sentences were very staccato, very short and choppy, and the whole thing was just not my vibe, baby. It was really dull. It wasn't weird enough for me, and I just didn't connect to any of the characters to make it a character read. So I did decide to DNF that, and then I was listening to Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. So in this one, astronauts are hot, love is tragic, Bluebell is scratching the carpet, and space is the only thing big enough to hold all of this drama. It was too soap opera drama for me. It is mostly based around the relationships, and I don't care for relationship drama. I don't want to read about people cheating. It's not for me. And because I'm not interested in astronauts in space as a theme, that was also not something that was keeping me invested. So yeah, it would probably be fine, like a 3-star, maybe 3.5 star, but that's not what I'm here for. So I let that one go as well. And then I picked up The Sleepless by Jen Williams, which supposedly isn't released in America yet, but it was at my library, ebook edition. And in this one, you have Alva, who's our FMC, and she is a poisoned skinned monster who is a guardian of the forest. And you have Arter, and he is a sleepless, meaning that whenever he goes to sleep, an evil entity that possesses his body wakes up in it. So it's a lot of Alva. My skin kills everyone I touch. Arter. Good news. I'm cursed and I can't die from that, so you can touch me. Lucian, the evil spirit roommate. Sup. You can touch me a lot while I smirk at you. And together they make probably the world's worst polycule. Cue a lot of god, melodrama, and a magical custody battle over one body. So, you know, you've got a poison ivy girl, a double occupancy dude, and a whole lot of god drama. I gave this book 5 stars. I was thoroughly invested. It is a YA romantasy. It doesn't feel too YA, but I was like, so why does it need to be YA? This could easily have been an adult. Is it just because do YA sell better? I don't know. But it is pretty PG in terms of the romance. You get one kiss. With which of the boys? I'm not going to tell you that. Which team am I on? It's Team Lucian. I love a morally grey MMC. And this chaos demon that is stuck in Arter's body ain't afraid to slit a priest's throat to get some power. He's definitely morally grey. The gods in this are really interesting, so they all worship particular gods. Alva has a real interesting backstory. So the opening chapter begins with Alva. She's 12 years old. She's been selected by some priests, mages, to be sacrificed so that the plague of sea serpents that is harassing a town can be dealt with. So the god that she sacrificed to, he eats potential. So he eats what her life could have been had she not died. So she's thrown off the cliffs into the sea serpents, but plot twist, the sea serpent was actually the god of monsters / animals, or they call them G in this, and she bites Alva and she replaces her blood with poison and she turns her into one of these G, or like animal forest spirit creatures, and that's why she becomes a guardian of the forest. And she can also, fun fact, converse with animals, which so cool. And like I said, they've got normal animals, but then they've also got animals in this that are fantastical. They are a delight, and because Alva can converse with them, we get to know their personalities as well. Be forewarned, there is animal death in this, unfortunately. It makes sense for the story, but it's hard to stomach. And then Alva's first chapter is him being cloistered away in a remote monastery where every evening he's locked up in a cell so that the spirit inside him cannot repeat the atrocities that he has already committed with Arter's body. But not everything is as it seems, as you might guess. There's in this one of the gods is a trickster fox god who is stirring shit up. And you might think, doesn't that get old? I'm like, no, I always find the trickster fox gods causing chaos to be hella fun. They really stir the pot. And the villain in this is referred to as a mother because of her backstory. But all I will say is this, that I would not take away from somebody else what was taken from me. I will not inflict that kind of grief and misery and pain on anyone else just because I experienced myself. But then again, I'm not a selfish villain. That might be the difference. Besides that, the book leans into questions of trust, survival, and the dangers of intimacy. It's very dark and atmospheric, and I found that the dialogue was quite snappy. I just had a fun time. It reminded me a little bit of This Fatal Kiss by Alicia Dzinska. Obviously, this love triangle only contains 2 bodies, but 3 people, which also brings up questions of consent because Arter obviously can't consent to what Lucian does with his body. And I will say the lines weren't crossed. There was flirtation, but no lines were crossed in that respect. But yeah, Arter is just the goodest of good boys. He's a pure soul, and I could see him willingly sacrificing himself so that perhaps Alva could be with Lucian, because they're both monsters in a way. They've both got less humanity than Arter. But at the same time, I also see that perhaps to atone for everything that he's done, Lucian might be the one that needs to die and lose Alva. Because it's also not fair that Arter lose his own body. Unless there can be a sweet solution where somehow Lucian gets a body again. I still wouldn't want a throuple. I'm sorry. In this Fatal Kiss, it makes sense because the boys are also bi. So it's just like, it's a human centipede situation. But in this one, I don't think the boys are bi. So I'm not into a love triangle with that, where I would rather just one of them. And I'm going for Lucian. But there were a lot of developments right at the end of the book that changes things a bit. It sort of shakes the dice up again, and we'll see what the new board looks like. But yeah, a really interesting world. This is my kind of romantasy. Obviously, I would like a bit more romance in my romantasy. I won't even call this a romantasy, guys. Like, I understand we've got this situation with these three characters, but for most of the time, they are just on a quest, and we are learning about the world and the gods and the magic. So I wouldn't call this first book a romantasy. It's fantasy with some romance in it, because like I said, you get one kiss right at the very end, so it's not focusing on them. It's them is happening whilst everything else around them is happening. But yeah, there's some fun characters in this, a lot of morally grey characters, which I just love, because you never know what they're going to do. You know, where's their line? How good are they? And it is quite violent and brutal. Like I said, the opening chapter is throwing a 12-year-old girl to her death, and she's then pierced by and drowned by a sea serpent. So it was quite full on. But yeah, five-star read. And I'm so happy. So I wasn't quite sure. I love Jen Williams', what is it called? Trilogy. I'll put pictures of those books up here. I liked this. I didn't like the Talon Sisters at all. So I was like, ooh, which way am I going to lean with this? This was another 5-star. So I will always try Jen Williams books. I'm looking forward. I've already purchased a special edition copy from an Australian bookstore, ordered it in. And then after purchasing that, I found out that Waterstones also had an exclusive edition that was also signed, but that was $30 more expensive. So it's probably best that I save myself that extra $30, because yeah, the one I ordered still has beautiful stenciled edges, which it makes me happy, guys. I know some people don't care, but I really do. I love the stencil edges. I love the way they look on my bookshelf. It's just art on a book that I can also appreciate with my eyes. And I'm glad that it seems to be that the most of the books that get done are the fantasy. So hopefully, like I said, I can find more 5-star fantasies that have, but yeah, now I've got to find something else. But this is what I mean. I want this mood reading vlog to just be me reviewing books that are 4 stars and up for me. So this is, you know, all the books that make me the happiest. Now I've got some books at the library to pick up. There's quite a few, but the one that has my eye is Matchmaking for Psychopaths by Tasha Coriel. Pretty sure that's it. I did listen to the audiobook beforehand. Is anybody else like that? Like, you will look it up, how to pronounce it, and then you start talking, and it completely just goes, or you second guess yourself about the pronunciation. But I am looking forward to that one, and I'll tell you what that's about once I've started reading it. So that's definitely going to be going next. If I DNF that, I'll replace it with something else. Next month, I am going to go back to just 4 books though, because yeah, sometimes it just takes me a really long time to find a book I want to stick with, and I can't have 2-hour vlogs. That's just nuts. It's a lot of editing for me as well. So we'll go back to the 4 books per month, but it's definitely been easier to downsize the amount of vlogging and video editing I do by reading less. And I have just been filling that time with making oracle and tarot decks. So, you know, once I stop doing that, then I'll probably go back to reading voraciously. But at the moment, I've swapped some of that time out with a different fixation and hobby of mine. But my dad's coming back again today. He's like helping me with stuff around the house that's broken. And that's all I've got on the agenda. Just going to the library to get some books and doing odd jobs around the house. But I'll talk to you once I've read something. Oh, and I had absolutely insane dreams last night. Multiple dreams. The first one, I was the Beast from Beauty and the Beast. And I don't often gender swap a lot in my dreams. In this one I did. And Belle was my girl. And things got hot and heavy. I don't know about you guys too, but when I have those wet dreams, it's very real. Like the sensation and the sounds and the smell and the taste, it's all there. I will say I almost never smell scents in a dream. I have very few times, but that's probably the one sense that I don't get in the dream space. But it was very interesting. I haven't often done that whilst in a men's body, but yeah, it was very interesting too. And then it went into another dream where I was in like a Versailles type castle, and I was a servant, but really I was an undercover investigator because there were preternatural predator aristocrats preying on the help, and I was trying to, you know, uncover who they were and slay them. And then there was another one. There was a lot of different dreams, just one after the other. So I'm a bit exhausted because they were all action packed. You know, I was slaying monsters or I was banging away. So I had a busy night, I had a very productive night. But yeah, I just thought I'd ask if anyone else has gender swapped in their dream and then had a saucy dream while they were gender swapped. Totally forgot to mention too yesterday, that hot chocolate, it's my new favorite hot chocolate. It's number one. So I'm actually going to go into the store and try it in person. But it was great consistency. I'm pretty sure they do use a thickener, like probably cornstarch in theirs, whereas Cocoa Black was just pure chocolate. But it's fine, I don't mind it. And it had thick double cream and it was cheap. So it was only $5.50. So because of that, I am edging it just above Cocoa Black because it is cheaper. So I'm going to go in person tomorrow because I have to get a blood test tomorrow. So to reward myself, I'm going to go to that cafe and have it in person because yeah, I do think it might be the number one hot chocolate. Good morning guys, I'm just coming on here very quickly because I've got to go and get blood tests done, going out to the cafe, and I'm going to the library. So I will be doing a library book haul for y'all once I get back. Nova. Okay, I'm back. For some reason, I thought I had more books at the library. I'm going to get rid of this dress. This is driving me nuts. Yes, as I was saying, I thought I had more books at the library. There's only 2. One of them is for Halloween vlogs, so I'm not going to show you that one. And I did get in Matchmaking for Psychopaths by Tasha Coriel. So in this book, poor Alexandra's life has just been turned on its head. Her fiance that she was just about to marry and her best friend are fucking each other. And they decided to let her know by inviting her out to a fancy dinner with them on her birthday. On her birthday, that's when they told her. I will never understand, I hate this cover, I'm going to put the other one up on the screen, why people break horrible news in public places. Like, that is just the worst thing you can do. Have the decency to at least have the talk in private. But no, they do it in a public place. And she's just lost the most 2 important people in her life because Alexandra doesn't have many friends. As she tells us repeatedly in the first 70 pages, that's what I've read so far, she had a very sad childhood and some things happened to her, and her family always forgets her birthday. So she is constantly telling people, it's my birthday today, it's my birthday today. And like, bitch, we get it. My family forgot my birthday a couple of times as well. You're not going to see me fucking crying over it 30 years later, like, go to therapy. Speaking of therapy, she is a matchmaker for psychopaths. So that's a thing in this book. And so on the night that she was jilted by her fiance and best friend, she hooked up with a really handsome guy, and he's rocked up at her work the next day wanting to see her again. And she's like, no. That was a one night thing because my ex-fiance is going to come back to me. He's going to come crawling back. Why you would take back someone who's cheated on you with your best friend, I don't know. But obviously her self-esteem is very low, very low. So she says, I'll matchmake you instead. And she's also sort of developed a friendship with one of her clients, Rebecca. She's got a bit of a girl crush on her. I don't know if it's like girl crush, or just friend crush. But the blurb makes it sound like Rebecca might be killing off people in Alexandra's life. Or maybe it's this new dude, maybe the new psychopathic dude. I don't know. Look, at the moment, it's not really doing anything for me, you know? It's just, yeah, I don't like Alexandra and nothing really much has happened. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it to 100 pages and then decide, even though I probably should just DNF it now because, like I said, it's literally a 3-star at the moment and that's pretty low. I don't know. We'll see if anything else comes out because, like I said, she's alluding to something horrible having happened in her childhood. Considering she only has a mother and not a father, I'm going to assume murder. Either her mum killed her dad, which I think is too obvious, or she killed her dad, maybe. Or a serial killer killed her dad. I don't know. But then why would you be working with psychopaths? I'm sure there's some twist to the plot that'll make it exciting. So I might give it 30 pages to reel me in if it hasn't. Because how many pages is this book? Let's have a look. 308. Yeah, that's a third. If it hasn't done anything by a third, that's it. I haven't gotten my blood test because they go on break. I think I went a bit too hard with the blush today, Jesus. Normally I put less than I should, and this is looking crazy. They go on lunch break. Didn't know that. So they're on lunch break right now, so I'll have to go back later. Took myself out to lunch. The hot chocolate, this one that I had in the cafe rather than the takeaway one, this one had a lot more cornstarch in there, so it was like a pudding. It was a pudding. You couldn't drink it. It was a spoon only one. So I'm going to put it equal first with cocoa black. It's equal first. I love the cream on top, but this one was a bit too thick. It was too thick. It was a bit lumpy as well. So we'll go with equal first. And I feel like a really decadent, rich, spoon thick hot chocolate. It'll do. I got a parcel. Let's just see what it is. I don't even know what this is. What is this? What did I order? I really don't like going to shops. So, I know what this is. This is Honey Birdette. Okay, we've got a bit of a lingerie situation. They had a sale on. It was 70% off. So, do I need more knickers and bras? Well, these are bras. No, but 70% off? Yes, I'm gonna, It's too good to pass up. What did I get? Oh, okay. I forgot what I got. So I got this red bra, I think, because you can never have too many red bras. That's not going to help you. I'll just bring it up close. So this one has a gorgeous, what do you call that? Heart locket. I have to size up with Honey Birdettes. Normally I'm a C with these. I'm a D. In the past I was a double D. I had massive mummy milkers. I actually was an E at one point, but my kids sucked me dry. 6 years of round the clock breastfeeding, and I was left with a full C. But yeah, I went up a size. And this one too, yeah, I wanted another black option because, as you know, a lot of my clothing shows my bras. So I wanted another black fancy bra. Isn't that gorgeous? Like, come on. Look at the jewelry, my dudes. Look at that jewelry. That's going to look gorgeous in a peekaboo dress, across the ribs. Oh, gorgeous. Gorgeous. Hopefully it fits because, I think it's one of those cases where I don't know if other people's boobies oscillate in size, but mine do, depending on my cycle. They can go up or down a whole cup. So this might be something that I can only wear when I'm on my cycle or something and I got bigger boobs, swollen tatas. But oh my God, that is gorgeous. So yeah, this was a steal. They were less than $50 each. Originally, it's $175. So $50 compared to $175. What one was this originally? They were both $50. This was $120. So $300 and I spent $100. So yeah, obviously good price. But yes, I did not get the matching knickers. I don't have a partner, so I'll just wear these with any red and black knickers. It's not a big deal. If I had a partner, I would get the matching set, but ain't nobody gonna see them except me. So I tend to just wear the knickers that I wear most of the time. I'm going to be honest, the ones that look best with outfits are just like the invisible ones. So for instance, Cotton On have these Brazilian cut invisible seam knickers. So that way you can't see any panty lines and they're smooth and they're flush. Whereas obviously all of the jeweled knickers and that gorgeous, but then you get all these bumps through your fabric, which doesn't look great. So the beautiful underwear really is just for wearing at home. And when you go out, the more functional underwear that's seamless and invisible is better in terms of the silhouette. That's my opinion anyway. And Brazilian cut's my favorite. It's a bit of a cheeky thing. It's halfway between like a G-string and a full brief, but I do like Brazilian cuts because surprisingly less wedges than a full brief. For some reason with a full brief, one cheek goes right in, but Brazilian, it just stays put. But welcome to my panty talk. So yeah, I've got to go to get the blood test later. It's my daughter Valentine's birthday today. She's 14. So we'll be going out later this evening with her dad and his girlfriend, doing a bit of a family dinner. We're doing pizza. And I don't know if I should do a gluten cheat day or if I just should try and find gluten-free options. We'll see. I think this lipstick is off. I'm going to Google how can you tell lipstick is off, but it's very tacky, like very sticky, and it smells quite strongly. It's not a bad smell, but it's not the usual lipstick scent, but it's the tackiness. It was getting all over my teeth whenever I was smiling, and it sucks. So if you've got a recommendation for like a brick, this is like a dark brick brownie, like ignore the liner. That color, which I would call like a dark terracotta red. Do leave your recommendations down below, because if you know makeup, it's like there's so many choices, and I would rather not have to go around and do 100 swatches on my arm to find something. If someone knows, hey, this shade's great, the lipstick stays, you know, it's a good quality, yada yada yada. So, but I'm open to everything from drugstore to high-end label. But leave your recommendations down below, because I do need to replace. So this color originally is Smolder by Youngblood, and I found that the Youngblood suppliers don't sell it anymore. They don't sell it anymore. So I'll do a quick Google search, see if I can find it again, because that would be the easiest, just swap it over. But I think I remember a year ago I tried to get some more, and they were just out of most of the colors, and they don't seem to be restocking. So that was the issue. But I'll see you guys. Yeah, I'll take you along with me to Valentine's dinner. You know what? Indy's full goblin core.
Sylvie just woke up because someone walked past the house. Sylvie, it's okay. You're safe, honey. You can go back to sleep. You can go back to sleep. You sleepy kitty.
Like if you feel his hair, it's very fluffy. If you feel here, it's like very ratty and...
It's a big poodle for his size.
Good morning, everyone. So yesterday the restaurant was lovely. I had an entire pizza. It was not gluten-free. The only gluten-free options they had were calamari and octopus, and I am not a tentacle eater. So yeah, I am feeling very puffy and yucky today, and you can hear. Unfortunately for me, whenever I eat gluten, my body resumes its attack on my thyroid. So that's why I am generally completely gluten-free, because it does flare up Hashimoto's, which normally I keep in check. So pretty much as soon as I've gotten the gluten out of my system, it'll go back to normal. And then we got gelato afterwards, but I got the hot chocolate, and it was pretty decent. It was pretty decent. So that was a 7.5. That was actually decent hot chocolate. So I do like the hot chocolates that come with cream and that are thick, and that it was that. So that was a pleasant surprise. Now the next book that I'm picking up, this book has a lot of confusion as to what the proper pronunciation of the title is. So I decided to look up the etymology of the word, and it's a Greek word. So if you wanted to be pedantic about it, the proper pronunciation of this is katabasis. That is pretty much, I'm pretty certain how you pronounce it in Greek. Katabasis. So I guess that's what I'm going to call it, katabasis. Because I've got to do my Greek heritage justice. So I am currently reading Katabasis by R.F. Kuang. And this is a book where group projects are literal hell. So in this dark academia fantasy, a professor dies during an oopsie moment that was caused by the errors of Alice. But this is where it gets sticky. In order to land her dream job in academia, Alice needs a letter of recommendation from the dead professor. So she ends up reluctantly teaming up with her academic rival, and the two nerds descend into hell to retrieve their professor. But they might end up killing each other before the demons get a chance. So I have read the first chapter of this book, and I'm enjoying it. Look, it is very much steeped in Greek mythology. They're In order to get to hell, they had to study Tartarology, so I'm assuming that refers to Tartarus. They have descended into hell, which surprisingly looks like an English meadow in spring, i.e. gloomy and grey, and they're about to enter the Asphodel Meadows, which is also in Greek mythology. I also heard a bit of a rumour, I'm not sure if it's true, that this also plays with the Divine Comedies by Dante Alighieri, which is also another favourite book of mine. So if we've got that and the Greek mythology, especially all to do with the underworld, which love because Hades and Persephone are my favourite Greek gods and they are the rulers of the underworld. So you have the Asphodel Meadows and Tartarus and all that jazz. And Elysium, if we're lucky, maybe we'll see Elysium. I don't know, probably not. But yeah, I read one chapter and I'm like, I'm digging this. I'm not loving the main character. Look, it's giving me a little bit of the dynamic between Emily Wilde and, well, I can't remember his name. Is it Bartleby? You know who I'm talking about. It's giving me the dynamic between those two because her arch rival is just effortlessly brilliant. You know, he's a bit of a slob, and it irks her because she works hard. She works hard to get where she is, and he just seems to arrive there nonchalantly and messy. But he also, we don't know what his reasons are for descending into hell because there is a price to pay, as you would assume with the passage. With hell, bargains with hell never end well. In order to gain entry, they had to sacrifice half their remaining mortal lives. So Alice assumes she's giving up 30 years. But I'm like, oh, how does that work though? Is it just the average human lifespan? That's what it's going off? Or is it your remaining years? Because babes, maybe you don't have 60 years left. Maybe you only had a year and now you've got 6 months. Like, I don't know how the calculation is made as to what exactly is half your remaining lifespan. But yeah, both of them made the deal and they entered. I also love that they've got lembas bread in this world. So there's some like cool little nods to other works of fantasy and mythology, which I think is really cute. So fingers crossed, this ends up being a book that I see through to the end and we can finish this vlog. I'm going to be for real with you. I think even if I decide to DNF this, I am going to end this vlog because it's gotten way too long in the teeth.
This is the song that doesn't end. Yes, it goes on and on, my friend.
It's too much. So it's either going to finish with this book or it's going to finish with me DNFing this book. But besides that, today on the agenda, my sister's coming to give my daughter a birthday present, and then my daughter's got a birthday party, and I think, fingers crossed, that's all we've got planned. So I do want to have just a quiet one to sort of recover from yesterday. All of the info. Hello. Hi. Hi. What are you doing? What are you doing? I love you. I love you. Bluebell. I'll touch base with you guys once I've read some more of Katabasis. That's going to be annoying. I'm probably sounding like a wanker, but it's how it's meant to be said. And I actually then looked up an interview with the author and she said actually that's how it's pronounced, katabasis. So I'm just going to say it. Oh, I'm back again. Before I go, I'm going to show you my current work in progress. So I'm crocheting up a little bag to go with the current deck I made. I made an oracle deck and I'm just obsessed. This is not even showing up. But this colorway, gorgeous. Price of this yarn, ridiculous. This was $50. Inflation, guys, inflation. But yeah, I'm obsessed with variegated yarn. This is merino wool because I love color. But this is what I'm currently working on. I never show my crocheting on here. I don't know if anyone's interested, but I do it all the time.
I spy someone in a little kitty condo. So cute.
Okay guys, I thought I would do a 100-page check-in because this book is over 500 pages long. So the word katabasis is about the hero's descent into the underworld. In this case, in this book, it is filtered through academic obsession, rivalry, and the pursuit of brilliance because Alice's quest is not heroic. Because she hasn't entered hell to save a loved one or to save the world. She's done it because she's chasing academic glory. It's to further her own selfish pursuits. So, you know, it's a little twist on the usual tale. And then obviously we've got the added element of the rivals together. And I will say that their banter and their conversations do undercut the griminess of Hell a little bit. It does give a bit more of a comedic feel, like it's almost a comedy of errors, as much as it is also a descent into darkness. So I was right about the Dante's levels of hell being brought up in this. If I got a rainbow on my face, I do. I'm still really enjoying it. There was one point where they tried to summon Professor Grimes to them. Instead, they summoned the campus cat Archimedes. And he was just not interested, and off he went. So I'm kind of hoping Archimedes does return at some point. I mean, he is on one of the covers, so yeah, you know I love a cat, guys, but that I should get out of the way of the rainbow. I am really enjoying it. I will continue on. It's really sunny outside, but it's fucking cold. It's one of those duplicitous days where you think, oh, look at the glorious sunshine, and you wander out and within a second you're like, nope. It's cold right back in, but it is warming my house up, so I managed to be able to take off my cardigan, which is nice. It's like the first time I've been able to be in my house without multiple layers. So I'm going to continue on with katabasis. Okay, Archimedes has returned, but he returned injured. If I'm gonna say it, if this cat dies, you know what I mean. I will revolt. I want Archimedes to be fine, but he just had a bit of a skirmish with some bone doggies. Also, in this book, chalk is very, very, very important in regards to magic. It's the main component, and there's been a bit of a complication in Hell regarding that. That's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to spoil anything. But this year really is working for me at the moment, whereas Babel was, I just found it quite dull and mediocre, but I am really enjoying it. So no, this could possibly be my favorite RF Kwang, and I might actually really enjoy it. So at the moment, it is definitely feeling like a 4.25 to a 4.75. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so I'm exactly halfway through the book. We've gotten some tropes. We've gotten 2 people, 1 blanket, and fake dating. That was very brief. And there's actually quite a lot dedicated to Alice and, is it Peter? Fuck, I'm bad with names. So you'll be in Hell, and then something will happen that will make Alice remember something from, you know, the past. So we're constantly going back to all of these previous moments in time. It's feeling a little bit bloated. There is a lot of academic prattling, hypothesizing, posturing, and I just don't know how much of this is absolutely necessary. Do we really need to know all of these things? Do our minds need to be stuffed with as much information as Alice's? So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, at the moment, I'm just trying to figure out how much of this information is vital to the story. I am enjoying how things are unfolding in Hell. I definitely prefer being in Hell. I just do not care about what happened back in Academia Land. Alice, I will say too, is not a likable character. She really isn't. So that is also letting it down a bit for me, because at this point, I'm actually hoping Peter is the one who is victorious and makes it through. I wouldn't actually care if Alice lives or dies, and that shouldn't be the case if she's the main character. I should definitely be empathizing with her a bit more. The kitty cat, Archimedes, is okay. He's fine. He's wily. A lot of things in Hell don't fuck with cats. So he's able to go there because cats are very good at finding all the in-betweens and from going to place. So I don't know why Archimedes likes visiting Hell. That's yet to be ascertained. But once again, I'm still enjoying it. I'm definitely going to finish it. I'm halfway through. So this will be the last book for this vlog. But is it going to end up a 4 or a 5 or in between? I don't know. But at the moment, I'm starting to lose interest a little bit. Like I said, I'm finding it a bit tedious with all of the flashbacks.
Every time you want to be on the camera, hey? Yes, you like the spotlight? Oh, can you see? No, you can't see it. Here she is. There she there she goes. But I don't know if I'll finish today. It is taking me a long time to read. So this is one of those books, because of the heavily philosophical, mathematical, academic text-like conversations. It does take me longer to read. I have to really slow down to make sure I'm actually understanding the words that are going into my eyeballs. So yeah, it's been a few hours and I've only read half the book. In this time, I normally would have finished a book this long, but is what it is. It takes as long as it takes. So I don't know if I should keep reading, if I should go and do something else, but I do like... Mom? Yeah? Alright, gotta go. I finished it. It's just about, the sun's just about to set. I will say that a cat, not Archimedes, a cat is killed and eaten in this book. No, Bluebell. So didn't love that. Look, I still think this could have been 5 stars if it had been more succinct. It was quite rambly. It over philosophized a lot. I didn't feel like all of it was necessary. Once again, I do think Alice is just really unlikable. Really unlikable. There wasn't enough to have me rooting for her, especially over Peter. I was really interested in a character called Elspeth. Would have liked to have gotten to know them more. Not a huge amount of time is actually spent talking about the different aspects of hell. There's just so many flashbacks to the past at the academy. A lot of flashbacks to the academy. I don't give a shit about Professor Grimes. A lot was spent on him. The issues of misogyny and essay in the workplace also took up quite a large amount of the book. I was hoping it would just be more focused on the magical aspects, being in hell and the puzzling out of how to get through hell unscathed and complete their aim. So yeah, it just felt a bit messy and muddled. And like I said, it needed tightening up and maybe to zone in a little bit rather than to have such a broad scattered outlook on things. But I still thought it was a great book. And with that, I'm going to end this vlog. I apologize for the noise. That's Indiana. She's eating a dinner. Okay, so let me sum up all the books I read in this reading vlog in order from least enjoyed to most enjoyed. We have Mr. Distinctive by Olga Tokarczuk. A selfie addict's perfect face dissolves into a blur the more he posts, leaving him desperate to reclaim his lost uniqueness. Love in the Big City by Sang Young Park. Sorry, Bluebell's licking her butthole and it's very distracting. Glitter, Heartbreak, Soju and Cigarettes. Katabasis by R.F. Kwang. Ambition, Rivalry and Underworld Chaos. The Sleepless by Jen Williams. A Poisoned Skinned Guardian and a man with a demon timeshare in his body accidentally start the apocalypse while flirting. This was a 5-star read, as was Welcome to the Deep Estate by Kevin Kane. A wild ride through cosmic HR proves reality doesn't just glitch. It files a TPS report about it.
Yeah, you apparently didn't put one of the new cover sheets on your TPS reports.
Yes, that sentence doesn't make sense, but I wanted to reference TPS reports. Peter. 5-star read. And the last 5-star read for this vlog was Death and the Gardener by Georgi Gospodinov. A son mourns his father by tending the garden he left behind, where grief and memory bloom side by side. So I had, 3 5-star reads, and a great read and some good reads. And thus finally ends this mood reading vlog. Finally. But that is everything. Let me know down below what your most recent read was. Until next time, stay well, Star Child.